Hi, I'm Jeff. This is Tropical Plants at 53 degrees north. So today I want to explain to you about a pretty new, for me anyway, greenhouse idea to help with the insulation. So it's a greenhouse insulation idea. And I did mention it on one of my other videos right at the end, but if you didn't get to that, I actually thought it deserved its own video anyway, because if you're like me and you have a greenhouse and you are trying to heat it to, well, anything really, then obviously money is going to be an issue. But especially if you're trying to heat it to 12 degrees, or in my case, at one side of the greenhouse, 18 degrees Celsius, then anything that will save money will be something that is worth doing. So this actually came about with an Instagram post, and it was from Fibrex Nurseries. Now, if you're not from the UK, then you won't know that Fibrex Nurseries is a well-known, like a national seller and hybridizer of pelargoniums mostly, but they do other things as well. And they posted a photo of their setup, and they had all these pelargoniums in this massive commercial greenhouse. And what I noticed was that, as well as the bubble wrap, they actually had some horticultural fleece kind of hanging down from the ceiling. Now, obviously theirs was a very big commercial greenhouse, so the horticultural fleece was kind of suspended like a false ceiling. So I actually asked them about it, and I said, well, what do you actually find that this improves the costs for the heating? And what they came back to me with was that yes, not only does it improve the costs, but it also improves the condensation that you get in a greenhouse. Now, when the temperatures are quite low, like in my 12 degrees side, then I get quite a lot of condensation. And you can imagine, can't you, that the greenhouse itself is completely closed up. So there is no ventilation whatsoever in my greenhouse anyway. There might be in theirs, but there isn't in mine. And the plants are still going to be giving off moisture, as well as the moisture that comes from the runoff when I water the plants. Now, humidity is normally a good thing, but it's not when the temperatures are so low, because it can help to spread fungal diseases, bacterial diseases and so on, and you can get more rot as well. And it means that the plants, even though I have got some air movement, the plants aren't drying out quite the same. So it's not a good thing. So what we try to do is reduce that as much as we can. So anything that will reduce that, if horticultural fleece can help to soak that up, I don't think it could get rid of it entirely, but it might help to kind of soak it up a little bit, then that would be a good thing. And of course, if it reduces costs, that's even better. Now, you only have to get hold of a piece of horticultural fleece to feel the warmth in it. It really does feel like a warm material. So what I've done is I have spent a massive £5.99 on some new horticultural fleece, and for that money, I got 15 metres of 1.5 metre wide fleece, which to me, I think that's a pretty good value. And I have set it so far in the warm side of the greenhouse. You can just see behind me there. I'll turn you round and let's have a look at it properly. Okay, so I don't know how easy this is going to be to see, because obviously I've got the lights, the grow lights on as well, and if we go and turn them off, then you won't see. It's a very wet day, as usual, in the UK, and this is why the humidity is so high. At the moment, it's 72% humidity at the moment in this side of the greenhouse. I suspect it's higher than that, really, because it's absolutely pouring it down outside. But anyway, nevertheless. So far, because this is just as finicky and just as awkward to put up as greenhouse bubble wrap, especially when you've got a greenhouse full of plants. So you can see what I've done. I have just put it, and I've used these, we call them bulldog clips. I don't know what you call them in other parts of the world, but these clips just to the frame of the greenhouse, and I can actually see over here where the condensation is collecting. Now, that would normally drip on my plants, and I'm sure some of it will drip down, but what we've got there is it's just soaking it up. So, I mean, anything really that's another layer, you could go and put another layer of bubble wrap up. So I've put it right to the roof, and then where I've got this kind of crossbar up here, I don't know if you can just about see that, probably better over here, there you go. And I've put like a false ceiling of the horticultural fleece there, so there's a gap above there. And I mean, that's great for any kind of insulation. If you can form an air gap, that helps. It helps with shading as well, and it helps with trying to keep the heat in, because air does not pass heat through it very efficiently. So this is why we have gaps in double glazing in the windows. So I've put it on this side as well, and what I'm intending to do, I mean obviously I can't, it's not going to be easy to get it behind down the side walls there, or even the back wall with all these plants on it, and I've no intention at this time of year, December now, so I've no intention of taking all those off. I mean, getting all those climbers off, just not going to be a good thing. So what I can do though, usually a door, and that's the door through to the cooler side. A door is going to be something that lets quite a lot of heat through. So if I can stop the bleed through there, so I'm going to put some down there, and I'm going to create like an overlap here, so that I've got the doors completely covered as well. It's only going to like dangle to the floor. I might be able to staple it along the bottom to that door there. Obviously this is going to have to come off at some point, and that's just the nature of the job, unfortunately. But it would be nice to have something permanent. I might be able to keep some of the fleece up permanently, but it's going to mean cutting it. So, you know, we'll see what happens. I'll do exactly the same in the cool side. I mean, the cool side really is the side that's going to need it, especially for the condensation, to try and keep the condensation. I mean, you can see what goes on here. Can you see the condensation all along here? And all that drips on the plants and waters them when they might not need watering. I did show quite a while back how I had a dendrobium which was supposedly having a winter rest, and it was hanging from here, and what was happening was the condensation was dripping all the way down the wire, down the dendrobium, and then the root ball at the bottom, which was this was the plant actually, this was absolutely soaking wet, couldn't have been wetter, so it certainly wasn't getting a dry winter rest. So yeah, I think that would be something that would help if I could get some of this fleece up there. Might even see if I can put a little bit on the door in a similar way. All these things are not easy to do, and a little bit awkward, a little bit finicky, but if it means I save a few more pounds, I mean, I don't know, it's going to be difficult to actually ascertain whether I am or not. I would have to keep the records and then check the records after I have had the fleece up for a while. But even then, it's difficult to say for certain, because it could be the weather outside that had changed. It could be any number of factors. It doesn't necessarily have to be the fleece. So I don't know for sure whether it will make a real measurable difference. But my gut feeling is that even if it only helps with the condensation, that is a good thing. I'm sure it's got to help in some way, because it's quite well known and established that by putting horticultural fleece over plants outside when the temperature is hovering around 0 degrees Celsius, that can save a plant. So I'm sure it's got to have some effect. And if a well-known hybridizer and grower and seller like Fibrex Nurseries thinks it's a good idea, then who am I to argue? I will give it a go. So that's another little tip for anybody who is a fellow greenhouse grower and you've not come across that before. Why not give it a go? If you've got any other ideas for greenhouse winter insulation, let me know in the comments. And if you've not seen all my other videos about greenhouse insulation, I go into endless detail about how to put the bubble wrap up in the correct manner and the kind of bubble wrap and that kind of thing. No doubt there will be a card or a end screen popping up right at the end there to point you in the right direction. So that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thumbs up if you found that useful. And for now, I'll see you on the next one. Bye.